सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. ॐ.
Yeah, it's difficult to find, and yet always seems to be the smell of the ego.
Whether it is smell or imagination or a thought form, somewhere it appears and disappears. Always fleeting, isn't it?
It seems to be there all the time.
No, where is it in the deep sleep?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It is always fleeting.
But in the waking state, it's like this constant thorn in the mind saying, me.
The I is constant, but the apparent individual is always changing. It's never the same, even the body.
What do you mean the apparent individual is never the same, but the I is constant?
The I, the witnessing consciousness, creates this ahamkara, the I thought, which is connected or attached to the body appearance, to the body-mind complex appearance. The power behind the I is constant. The individual, the apparent individual, is not constant. It is always fleeting and always changing.
As in the I thought itself is not consistently the same.
The I thought borrows its apparent existence from witnessing consciousness, from Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness.
But it itself, in itself, so to speak, even though it doesn't exist, it's changing all the time. Like when I think Andrew, it always seems to be pretty much the same. It seems the same. The sense of a person seems the same.
Yes, because it borrows its existence from something which is always unmodified, which is consciousness.
So its sameness is not really its own nature.
No. So if you check the body of Andrew or the character of Andrew is always changing.
Yeah. That's quite difficult to see the difference between this thought, which is not permanent and gives a sense of I, and the permanent I thought sense that comes from the self, if you like, or the witnessing consciousness.
It needs practice. It needs the revelation from the teachings. It needs guidance from Guru Parampara, the scriptures, the Guru, constant sadhana.
It's like they're mixed together. But
it is just a false pattern from billions of lifetimes. It's not that easy to do this viveka, this discrimination.
Yeah,
that's why there is the need. There is indispensable all the prescriptions of the scriptures. Exactly because it is very difficult.
So the I thought, which is synonymous with person, it feels constant because it's connected to something that is constant, but it in itself is not constant. So what's the best way to have this discrimination then that's necessary to see these points?
There are many ways. One way is to try to see where is this person. By searching it, it disappears. Nobody can find it anywhere. And then to recognize that there is something constant, this substratum, it's always unchanging and unmodified.
So in that explanation, the first part of that is like meditation on emptiness of the person. You go, well, where is this person? And you see there is no real person, but then you go further and you see what there is.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the ways. There are many, many ways and practices and methodology. Shravanam, for example, the revelation from the scriptures and the listening of the scripture study and the teachings from a guru, and then mananam, dealing with your questions and doubts with the guru, and then nididhyasanam, internalizing the teaching. Then the lifestyle also should be conducive. All instructions are necessary. It's not only just one way to deal with these problems.
Sure. Like the question I asked this morning, are you allowed to in nididhyasana, are you allowed to be happy? Are you allowed to be peaceful? Are you allowed to enjoy your meditation? Or is it supposed to be a struggle?
Of course it is allowed, and it is also nice inspiration when you enjoy, and it is helpful only when it doesn't become an attachment. So if you enjoy it and then you say, I will do meditation in order to feel nice, then it can be a trap as well. Because the purpose of meditation, at least for the Advaita Vedanta path, as per the scriptures of this tradition, is not to enjoy, it's not to have fun or to experience bliss and happiness. The ultimate purpose is self-knowledge. Now, as a secondary effect, it may come this bliss and happiness and peace, and you can enjoy it, but not to make it the ultimate purpose of your meditation. At least for Advaita Vedanta path, nididhyasanam, the Vedantic meditation, is for internalization of Sravanam and Mananam, and in particular, internalization of the Mahavakyams, such as Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvam Asi.
So the main, it's not like you push it away or dismiss it or try not to be happy, but it's just simply not the main purpose. It's a byproduct.
Yes, you allow it to be as a byproduct, but you don't make it the purpose of your meditation. You should always remember that the purpose of meditation is internalization of the truth, making the truth that you have received through Sravanam and Mananam with the Guru to internalize it, to make it the truth in the heart of your heart.
But then why'd you do that in the first place?
Self-knowledge.
Yeah, but why seek self-knowledge?
Self-knowledge is it is rooted in our existence. It is constantly there. Whatever we do is because of this seeking of our true nature. So the ultimate purpose of whatever we do is to reach our true self, our true nature, even if it is not obvious.
But isn't
And
it?
why is that? Because when we reach our true nature, it is the recognition of constant peace, happiness, and bliss, constant fulfillment, contentment. Whatever we do in the day-to-day basis life and daily, we are seeking contentment, happiness, bliss, fulfillment. Whatever somebody is doing it because of this purpose. But of course, he or she using wrong means. Like, for example, trying to find contentment and fulfillment in things which are mithya, impermanent and fleeting. So that will bring always disappointment and frustration and suffering.
Yeah, but then that brings us back to the other point. Like you're saying that the secondary, the secondary effect of doing nididhyasanam and aspiring towards self-knowledge is to be happy. But on the other hand, self-knowledge itself is this wish to be fulfilled. So is it not also the wish to be happy?
Yes, but then you can make it a trap. You can try to reach these previous blissful experiences. And this can deviate your meditation into a constant search for feeling nice. When in reality, the purpose is to recognize that without doing anything in particular, your true nature is always Ananda, infinite peace, happiness, and peace. It is your true nature. And you can find it by self-knowledge.
Okay, so I can understand how you can have the intention for self-knowledge and not be distracted by the secondary effect of bliss. And yet it's not a contradiction knowing that you will eventually get bliss by heading for self-knowledge, but you maintain that singularity of intention and not get caught in this loop. I can understand that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you will be full of expectations and trying to reach a certain amount of pleasure or happiness, and you will get distracted by this, and you will not do the internalization of the teachings. But the teachings themselves, they are promising that self-knowledge itself will bring you happiness, peace and bliss anyway, because it is your true nature.
Yeah, I get it now.
But by trying to reach it through your meditation, it is a deviation.
I understand.
We don't do meditation to feel happy or to have spiritual entertainment. Of course, if it will appear, we enjoy it, but without attachment, without grasping on it.
Yeah, because then if you get attached to that, it will stop you experiencing that same bliss and happiness in the future naturally.
Yes. When reaching what we call self-realization, moksha, or enlightenment, it will come on a permanent basis. It will reveal itself, to use better wording, because it's not something that you obtain or attain or pursuing. It is something that you unveiling, which is always there forever and ever. For example, if you don't think something, is there any problem?
No.
No, there is bliss. If you don't think something, the true nature is bliss.
So it's good to be in without thoughts mostly.
This also can be a trap also.
But as long as you don't get trapped, so it's not bad. It's good because
Not bad to be absorbed in nirvikalpaka samadhi meditation, samadhi without any thoughts. It is acceptable and it is wonderful, but this cannot bring self-knowledge. Can give only relaxation and a kind of rejuvenation in all the system, but by itself alone cannot bring self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha.
But as long as you know,
you cannot say I will do samadhi, I will be in samadhi, and that will offer self-knowledge. It is impossible.
But as long as you know that, then and don't get trapped in it, it's a good thing in general. Like a
Yes, something very nice, but not compulsory. But in many parts, the problem is that they make it compulsory. They put it as the goal. For example, in the Raja Yoga tradition of Patanjali, the highest goal for them is samadhi. The last step of 8 limbs of yoga, it is samadhi.
No, that's not enough. Obvious. That's
for them, it is enough, and this is what they seek.
But then that's not permanent, is it?
Yeah, for Advaita Vedanta, this is wrong.
But they haven't realized their true nature.
Exactly. They want to believe that with samadhi, they can have self-knowledge, but that is impossible as per the scriptures, especially Upanishads, the Vedanta, and it is impossible to achieve self-knowledge with samadhi. It is okay to enjoy it as much as you like, but it is not compulsory and it is not enough. Samadhi is for a jnani to enjoy, but again, it is not compulsory. A jnani may choose to experience the joy of loka sangraham bliss by helping others through compassion, through love, and may not choose to withdraw in samadhi. It is perfectly fine. It is another scenario, which is mostly beneficial also for the society, for humanity.
Is it possible then to have permanent liberation, permanent moksha, to become a self-realized one without attaining samadhi?
Of course.
Because it always comes across, because even that quote you sent me from Ramana Maharishi, somebody says, it says in all the scriptures that you must attain samadhi first. Then he replies, and I wasn't exactly sure what his reply meant, but one possible explanation, I'm sure you'll tell me, is that you don't have to attain samadhi. You can attain self-realization, and that is the ultimate samadhi itself. It's much more samadhi than samadhi.
Samadhi is always there. And it is veiled from the thinking process and the false notion that I am an individual being. If you remove this false notion, what is the problem? The true nature is already samadhi. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Your true nature is infinite beingness and truth and infinite existence, which means Sat, permanent existence and truth. Chit, infinite consciousness, awareness, permanent. And Ananda, permanent bliss, happiness, and peace. This is what you are. You don't need samadhi to make that happen. But if you are constantly saying to yourself, supposing to yourself false notions that I am unto or I am an individual being which is in bondage and needs to be free, this is only superimposition. Now, Samadhi cannot remove the false notions. It is possible. Samadhi can give you only the enjoyment after you have removed the false notions. If you want to enjoy and to abide in the true nature, it is perfectly fine. But until you have removed the false notions, Samadhi cannot help you on a permanent basis. It will help you only this period of Samadhi. But when you stand up and Johnny comes and say to you, you are the most awful person in the world, and what is the meaning of the previous Samadhi session? If you experience suffering.
I thought, though, Samadhi was a tool you used to meditate, to see more clearly your true nature, like, that there is no person here. Like
But Samadhi cannot be used like that, because there is the suspension of the mind, of buddhi. Buddhi means mind, and there is in true Samadhi, when we speak really about Samadhi, the suspension of the mind. So who will say there that I'm not the body? I'm not a body-mind complex or a person. Since the thinking process is suspended, there is no what we call Jagrat Avastha, which means the experience of the empirical reality. Everything is suspended. So how you can use it as a tool? It cannot be used as a tool. It can be used only as abiding and enjoying. Samadhi cannot bring self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha. Only self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is a cognitive process, which you cannot have it in Samadhi.
That's interesting, because in my previous tradition I was in, it was like I don't know if it's the same thing, but it was like called tranquil abiding, and you get to a certain level of tranquil abiding, and then you go beyond that to a point whereby you can analyze again. Like you have this concentration, and you also have the ability to analyze as well. It was called superior seeing. I don't know if you're familiar with that from Dzogchen.
They speak in many traditions of what we call Savikalpa Samadhi, which is not the full suspension of all thoughts, but we have, from many thoughts, we have less and less and less, and then one where it is possible to do a kind of nididhyasana, a kind of contemplation of the truth. But this is not Samadhi. This is previous stage. So, for example, if you want to relax the mind and to have less and less thoughts, and then to do nididhyasana and to contemplate that I am Brahman, of course, this can be helpful.
Yeah.
This is not Samadhi. Samadhi, in reality, in all the legitimate spiritual traditions and in the source of the name, even Samadhi, the term Samadhi, which is Sanatana Dharma, Samadhi means a complete cessation of thoughts, a very deep absorption, a suspension of the mind, where somebody is abiding as the substratum without any thoughts. But previous stages are also mentioned, where there is no a complete cessation of the thoughts, but a very big concentration.
Yeah.
This is also the Raja Yoga of Patanjali, and they call it dhyana, which is the previous stage. And then also these kinds of concentrations or different kinds of practices can be useful. But again, it is only a tool to concentrate in the truth, which is, again, is a cognitive process. So in order to remove the ignorance that I am an individual entity which suffers and which is in bondage, you need an active buddhi, an active mind. Even if it is not so active but peaceful, still to say Aham Brahmasmi and to declare or to claim that my true nature is not an individual entity, but it is the absolute truth or the substratum or Brahman or awareness, it needs an active mind, an active buddhi. Otherwise, how you can have self-knowledge? Self-knowledge presupposes an active mind, an active, not a deleted buddhi.
So it's the best of both worlds to have a largely thought-free, peaceful, calm mind, and then to engage in nididhyasana with cognitive process and to try to like this.
Exactly. There is no need even to use postures of any kind. If you are advanced, you can walk, you can do your work, and still do nididhyasana, Vedantic meditation, and claiming your true nature. Even during Sravanam, when you are listening to the teachings, either from the Guru or studying the teaching, if you only do that with full concentration, it becomes nididhyasana. It becomes Vedantic meditation. So many ways to do nididhyasana, not only one. One of them is to be completely absorbed and just abiding as your true nature. But this is not the only one, the only compulsory one.
So this abiding as your true nature, it's not samadhi you're talking about. It's this just having a peaceful thought-free mind.
Yes, but you're still aware of you as awareness.
Yeah. And then, so if you're in this meditation and your mind's free from thoughts and you're aware of awareness, what do you do next? You just maintain this, or will something be revealed? Will something be unveiled?
You just being aware of your true nature without the false notion that I'm a Andrew or a body-mind complex or a person or an individual entity of any kind. You just abide as this recognition and conviction. What else? There is no need to do something else. You are always that anyway. From beginningless time, you don't need to create anew that you are that. You only need to remove the veiling through the procedures, Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and by conducive lifestyle, dharmic lifestyle, as per the Dharma Sastram.
Yeah.
And it becomes more and more deeper. The understanding becomes more and more profound.
And
it starts from just gathering of information from a guru or a Upanishad, and then you make it, if you do right sadhana, you make it your own truth.
And so how can you go into this permanent state of moksha then, without going into full samadhi? It's like you take away enough obstructions for your true nature to shine through, and then you're always aware of this. How do you go? I don't quite understand how you become constantly aware of your true nature if you haven't got this profound concentration.
There's no need to have to do something. You are already that. You are already this infinite awareness, the substratum. You don't need to create a new. You only need to remove the false notions.
And the way that
Samadhi is not a prerequisite for that. It's not the only way, as some paths they do believe, and they believe only through that you can accomplish enlightenment, moksha, or self-realization. As per the tradition of the Upanishads, this is not compulsory.
So the obstructions and obstacles can be removed, and
through sravana, mananam, and nididhyasana.
And then
it's not a prerequisite.
Awareness itself is already full.
That, yes, already in moksha. Don't create moksha. You reveal that you already are in moksha. You don't create enlightenment for yourself or self-realization for yourself. You are already that, the only enlightened one, which is Brahman. There is no person, so the person can become self-realized, enlightened, or attain moksha. And these are only expressions for the junior seekers, junior sishyas, that you have to attain moksha, or you have to the path to moksha. It's only a preparatory teaching. Why? Because there is nobody in the first place, and there is no self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha for a person. Not somebody, but for nobody. I remember one of my quotes. There's no enlightenment for somebody, but for nobody. And nobody is your true nature, which is not person, which is not somebody, impersonal. Already the only enlightened one. You have to see that. You have to profoundly understand that. Not to see, because this expression, sometimes it can create confusion, because nothing is there to see. But sometimes this expression is used, and it's not the best one. It is to remove, through a cognitive process, a profound cognitive process, the false notion that I am an individual entity which is in samsara, which is in bondage, and needs to be free, needs to attain or to create its moksha, its enlightenment or self-realization. When in reality, it is about removing the veiling of the false notion. Ignorance to be removed, and self-knowledge to come in its place. How you remove the ignorance of not knowing how to drive a car? By learning, practicing, having a teacher, and so on and so forth. It is a cognitive process. You cannot learn to drive a car by going into samadhi.
Might be quite dangerous.
Yeah. So it is a cognitive process, and it requires an awake mind in Jagrat Avastha, which is what we call the waking state of the mind, and not the dream state or the deep sleep state, which is similar to Samadhi, the deep sleep state.
Mm.
Now, if there is a jnani who wants, due to his prarabdha karma, to enjoy this bliss of Samadhi and to stay in Samadhi always, it is perfectly fine, and not to be a guru. But it is also perfectly fine, a jnani, to be a guru and to help infinite beings, apparent beings, and not abiding in this Samadhi. Otherwise, we wouldn't have scriptures, teachings, gurus, guru paramparas. If every jnani would go to a cave and just stay in Samadhi, you can imagine that no guru gulams, no ashrams, no sampradayas or guru paramparas or teaching or scriptures, nothing be there.
Bit boring.
Adi Shankaracharya himself was traveling all over the world, teaching all over the world of India, I mean.
Yeah.
Walking all over across India and teaching everywhere. He didn't choose to stay in the forest and abide in Samadhi. Also, this is one of the topics in Vichara Sagara scripture. And there it is very obvious that somebody who is claiming that is completely deviating from the tradition. Someone who is claiming that only through Samadhi you can attain, in inverted commas, moksha, self-realization or enlightenment is completely out of tradition and the Upanishads.
Sure, yeah.
All these topics have been discussed very much with all the acharyas of the tradition. And always it is revealed that Samadhi is not a prerequisite. It is due to prarabdha karma if somebody will choose to be a guru or to abide in Samadhi.
It's very interesting. And how does the jnani know that his realization, so to speak, is, so to speak, the highest? How does he know that there's not, or she know there's not some higher state? Is there a certain knowing where you think, this is the peak, the pinnacle of existence? There's nothing higher than this.
Well, either you know that you are a human being and not a cat, or not, isn't it? You don't need to go into the mirror every day and say, I'm Andrew, I'm not a cat.
Nowadays, people identifying as cats, wolves.
No, you know something, and there is nothing else to do. When you know that you are this substratum, what else to do? And this knowledge is on a permanent basis, and you are convinced on a permanent basis. What else to be done?
And do you know that it's permanent and it cannot reverse itself? You know that it's permanent, eternal.
Yeah, and then there is no need to do something else. You only as per your the body-mind complex prarabdha karma, either you see a jnani becoming a guru or establishing a gurukulam or helping the society for loka sangraham. He may become a doctor and help the poor. He may go into the forest and just enjoy his knowledge of the truth or abiding in samadhi.
Do you think there are some people in this world at the moment who are true jnanis, who are like doctors or, whatever role they choose, and they don't tell people?
Yes, if they don't want to become a guru and they don't have such a prarabdha karma, for sure they are. Why not? A jnani is not somebody who needs to have lights around his body or to sign or to so have a label in his forehead, I am a jnani, or to do any to perform any occult powers or see this and read this and things like that. He may be or she may be a very nice person in society who is helping as much as he or she can for the upliftment of humanity.
And never revealing that they're I'm the enlightened one, just doing their duty. Yeah. I mean, that's very humble in itself, isn't it? It's like unbelievably humble.
Yes, there is no need to be a show-off. He can be or she can be just separate in doing his or her duty to feed his or her family. It is only about prarabdha karma. For example, the prarabdha karma will give gifts of, let's say, communication skills to somebody to be able to convey the teachings. And to somebody else who is for abiding in samadhi in the nature, not to have at all communication skills. So how he can teach? To be a guru, you need to have particular talents and skills. Otherwise, it's better not to become one. If you cannot convey the teachings with a perfect manner, and you don't have nice communication skills, then it's better not to become a guru and to loka sangraham with other means. For example, you can go to the hospital and help the people there. It's still a very beautiful loka sangraham. Or you can do both. For example, Swami Sivananda was doing both.
Yeah. He did.
He was also having communication skills and teaching, and he was teaching, and also he was helping with his medicinal skills as a doctor.
Yeah.
Another scenario, for example, which is a combination. Swami Chinmayananda, very soon he discovered that his prarabdha karma was to teach and to open gurukulams.
Yeah.
Swami Tapovanam, his guru, was the other extreme. He wanted only to stay alone in the nature. And whoever wanted to receive teaching, come to his place and ask. Different prarabdha karmas.
So Swami Paramarthananda had two gurus, Swami Chinmayananda and Swami Dayananda.
Yes.
And did he met them both in person, I presume?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Who was Swami Dayananda's guru? I can't remember.
It is not so simple because this kind of gurus, they can be connected with many, and also it is not important because for sure they had gurus in previous lifetimes as well. So how they can be so ready and so prepared? But yes, this is the importance of the Guru Parampara and living gurus, because then we have a very secure environment. And even if your guru will go, the physical appearance will go into the transition of the death, what we call death, and death, then somebody can go to another guru on this Guru Parampara, holy tradition, and be safe. But if there is no Guru Parampara, like in the case of Ramana Maharishi, all these people remained after without any guidance, who were claiming that Ramana Maharishi was their guru. And still, a lot of people, they claim that their guru is Ramana Maharishi, which is absurd. How you can have as a guru someone who is not in life, just because you read his books, his works. It is absurd.
Yeah, the guru must be living.
And we speak, of course, for the external apparent guru, until you are prepared enough to see that you yourself is the ultimate guru as Brahman. But until you have this spiritual maturity, the external apparent guru is always indispensable.
Yeah, for sure.
The real guru always will say, one day you must recognize that you are the guru. Your true self is the true guru as Brahman. Even in Ribu Gita it says, the guru of Brahman is Brahman. Because there is only that. There is nothing like guru and sisya in reality. These are only mithya, only superimpositions, only names and forms, concepts. Even the Vedas and the Guru Parampara is mithya. What to say for the apparent guru and sisya? They're also mithya. But are you able to see this? Are you able to profoundly understand this truth right now? Or you need preparation and more spiritual maturity to recognize that and to be convinced on that on a permanent basis? I mean, because otherwise it is only an information that you have received from the Ribu Gita. Oh, Ribu Gita said that I am the guru as Brahman. Okay, I take that. But this is superficial. It has to be the truth in the heart of your heart, without any observations, on a permanent basis. And also, the real test will come when there are very tough situations in your day-to-day life. If you are married and your wife is dead, can you say I'm Brahman and I don't need a guru? If you are, the doctor say you are in very, very, very bad cancer right now, and you have only 2 weeks life to live, or you have AIDS or very, very deadly sickness. Are you able to say, I don't need a guru, I'm Brahman, I'm Satchitananda? Are you able? Or if you have an accident and you are in the hospital without legs and hands, and so on and so forth, the real test will come. And if you say, oh, I've read Ribu Gita and Ashtavakra Gita, and I don't need a guru because I am the guru, and then there is a very tough situation, then you will have your test.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yes, good luck.
Yes, it's so absurd to me that, you can read a couple of books and then, like another example, you're walking through the jungle and a tiger springs out, and it's like, just if it's just information, it's like having read the newspaper. There's hardly any difference. If you read the newspaper and a tiger comes, what to say? You'd probably die of fright. Even if you've just read the Ribu Gita the day before, you probably die of fright if it's just information.
Yeah, it has to be the truth in the heart of your heart, without any reservations. Like how you wake up in the morning and you go to the mirror and you know that you are a human being and not a cat or an elephant. It's to be a permanent recognition and conviction that I am Brahman.
Sometimes
without the need of, without the need of dealing with any doubts anymore.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And for this to appear one day, it needs all these procedures as per the scriptures. And all are indispensable. You cannot say, I'm doing Sravanam, but I don't do Mananam and Nididhyasanam, or I don't live a life as per the Dharma Sastra. Because if you miss any of the constituents of the instructions, either it will take you many lifetimes to complete the procedure, or it will never be done. I mean, in this lifetime, certainly, either in one lifetime or many trillions of lifetimes, it will come. But after a lot of suffering. You can go to Scotland also with a small boat.
A small
boat.
Boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it will not be so comfortable. But it is better to go with an airplane.
Yeah.
So
quick enough.
You can just watch YouTube videos of a fake guru and believe that it is enough. And certainly, one way or another, something you will learn, something good and positive and beneficial for self-realization. But it may take you trillions of lifetimes to complete the process.
Yes, you can also learn other things, like you can learn how a guru shouldn't be.
Yes, you can learn through his bad example. And also you can learn through suffering by just life itself. By experiencing again and again and again frustration, because you are investing your happiness to worldly things, one day you will wake up and you will recognize that something wrong is here. I'm always investing to make money to be happy, or to buy a home, or to buy a yacht, or an airplane, or a jet, or to have sexual partners. But I recognize that again and again and again, everything is fleeting. And no matter how I invest in worldly things, the end result is always frustration, suffering, and disappointment, and bitterness. So if you do that, let's say 100 lifetimes, one day, they may be, or even not need to have one more lifetime, because the suffering will be enough. You'll say enough is enough. I know now that the worldly things cannot bring me permanent peace, bliss, and happiness. And then you will turn sooner or later in what we call Atma Vichara, the exploration of what is your true nature, your true self, what you call myself. You will ask questions like, why that to me? Why I am here? Where from where I came, where I go, and things like that will certainly come automatically through suffering. So life itself, I remember one of my quotes is like self-realization in slow motion process. Samsara itself is walking the path to self-realization, but it is slow motion.
Okay. Well, it's the signposts are there over the lifetimes.
Yes, through suffering, through disappointment, frustration, recognizing everything is fleeting, impermanent, mithya. Always, you cannot find yourself. You say myself, but everything is always, you cannot recognize something as the self.
Yeah, I remember. I'm sure many people have this experience, and it's nothing so noteworthy. But when I was like 13 or 14, for just a few weeks or a few months, I kept thinking all the time, well, why am I here? Why am I in this house? Why am I with these people? Why, like, why this particular thing? There's like infinite possibilities. Why am I here? Why is this person my friend? Like this. Nothing came of these thoughts, I might add, but they would maybe from some previous lives. I don't know. It was like to have these thoughts keep coming again and again and again and again. Question.
Yes. Yeah, because it is the natural process of life which will bring one day or another, sooner or later, this beginning of inquiry. It comes as spiritual maturity, even through suffering. Ramana Maharishi also said that suffering is the way to God. But of course, he meant the way to self-realization. Because God is you, yourself. So if you self-realized, you see that you are the God, and there is no other God than you. There is no any distinction.
There must be a point, though, on your path when you start to become happy and you're suffering less and less and less, or even if bad things happen, you can transform them. But there must be a point where you start to, as your ego starts to become less strong, or it starts to dissolve a little bit, you should become happier, no? It's not, you're not going to suddenly jump from an ordinary suffering being into self-realization? There must be some kind of process.
There are stages. Little by little, the ego becomes more wise, even through the life experiences. So life itself is a guru. Only a true external guru can make the process very, very fast, extremely fast. And then instead of needing 1 billion lifetimes, you may need only one. Or maximum 2, 3, if you have the right guru. So the process can become very, very fast if you have a true guru. Yeah, it is like whatever. Also in life, other things as well. If you want to learn something, let's say you want to become a painter. If you go to a master painter, you can learn much quicker than to do it by yourself.
Reinventing the wheel is not necessary.
It's not necessary, even to become a plumber.
Yeah.
Learn alone, but it will take you more time for sure. So the spiritual mentor, and any kind of mentor, is very crucial, very critical, and can reduce a lot of suffering. It's like you want to walk on the top of the mountain, and you have a guide. The guide will bring you in the top of the mountain because he knows the path. He knows where there are obstacles and will avoid the obstacles. But if you go alone, you don't know where are the obstacles. And you may also stay there in a trap. So that's why we also say knowledge is power. It is even a publicly known. Knowledge in any topic, any subject, any sector. What to say for self-realization?
Yeah, there's so many people. If you know, when you're online and you look at some of these spiritual groups, which there are many, there's so many people who every day I almost see it saying, "Oh," and somebody will ask the question, "Do I need a guru?" or something like that. And there's so many people say, "No, just rely on yourself. You are your own master. You don't need other people. You'll get taken advantage of." Or 100 different answers why you shouldn't have a guru. And it's very common to think nowadays that you don't need one, which is amazing, considering it's the most difficult thing of all.
Of course, but it is also the result of the disgust of this society because of the fake gurus and their scandals. So they also have contributed to this attitude.
It's not just that, but it has contributed.
Yes, they have contributed on this phenomenon. But it is so obvious that if you want to learn something, you can learn much easier and more faster if you have a mentor. It is very, very obvious.
It's very, very obvious.
But at least those who know that, they will one day they will find a true guru, and their process will be faster. Of course, if they will sincerely follow the instructions of the guru.
Okay, that was great. Thank you.
Okay, good night and namaste.
Namaste.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।